Hi, everybody. Jean Humbrecht with Humbrecht Law, criminal and traffic defense attorney in Manassas, Virginia. I'm currently coming to you from a waiting room in a hospital. Uh, Everything is okay, but with the benefit of technology now, we can all stream in from wherever we're at. I am joined by Tiffany Izenour, who also is not local at the moment to Manassas people who are not in Manassas. But Tiffany is going to be talking to us today about leadership Prince William. So, Tiffany, I'm going to hand it over to you to tell everybody what leadership Prince William is, and then we will I'll start asking you questions and we'll have a conversation.
Sure. Excellent. Well, good afternoon. As Jean said, my name is Tiffany Izenour, and I am the incoming chair for Leadership Prince William. You all may also know me as the principal broker and owner of Freedom Property Management and Sales. I'm a co-organizer at 1 Million Cups Prince William. I'm the current president of the Northern Virginia chapter of NARPM, and really have taken the time and the effort to make sure that I'm as involved as appropriately with our local community. And that's how I ran across and became friends with Jean. So thank you for inviting me. And as Jean said, I'm not in Northern Virginia right now. I should have the beach in the background, but that is over here to my left. I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and took a couple minutes out to join you this afternoon. But so what is Leadership Prince William? That was my big question when I was recruited into the 2013 class Leadership Prince William back in 2012. And since then have learned that Leadership Prince William is the premier applied leadership program for the professional community in Prince William County. We run a couple of different programs, and that gives our local community members the opportunity to go deep, to get behind the scenes of what's going on within our community, make connections with other community leaders that you wouldn't have the opportunity to make otherwise. It's not networking, it's not BNI, it's not chamber. I did all of those things. And I'm like, how is this different? And learned very quickly after going through the program how different it was. A couple of, like I mentioned, we have two programs that we run with Leadership Prince William. Our adult signature program, which is we had our first graduating class in 2008. So we've been at this for a little while. We're an alumni base of a little over 500. And our signature program runs from September of every year until June. So it's 10 months. So we start we start on the mountain out in the Shenandoah for an overnight retreat where the current cohort class of approximately 33 on an annual basis gets together, really pulls back the veil and gets to know each other and gets to know themselves in a way that is really pretty incredible and really unique. We then meet on a monthly basis on the third Thursday of every month. And every month is a different theme. It's an opportunity to learn, like I'd mentioned before, get behind the scenes, learn something different about your community. Every year is a little bit different. Every month is a different theme, from health and human services to environment and open spaces to education, tourism, government. It's pretty incredible going through that program for those 10 months. When you get out of the program, you're then considered an alumni, and then you join the group, like I said, of over 500 of us. The second program that we run is actually still in its infancy. We've graduated three cohorts already, and that's our emerging leaders. And that's designed to be an introduction to our adult signature program. We have a fall session and a spring session. And that is an 8-week program that goes every Monday night for 2 hours. And that gives you a snippet of what you experience in the big program. Mm-hmm. But it's also, again, it's a snippet of the time, it's a snippet of the cost. And it's an opportunity for those that either want an introduction or maybe newer in their leadership journeys, or they're making a change, making a switch into a different field. This last graduating class, we had several several that were kind of getting out of their career field and going into more of their own journey post retirement. So
Oh,
those are the two programs that we run with LPW.
hmm. I hate to say that. So I've heard of the Emerging Leader Program, but I did not even know that was an option. So I know you said it was for people that were, earlier into their leadership journey, but can you maybe explain what you mean by that? Like who would be a good candidate, or I don't want to say good candidate, but who would be a person who you think would most benefit from the ability to participate in the full 9-month leadership Prince William versus the Emerging Leaders Program?
Sure, that's a great question, and I've got to be honest. When we first put together the Emerging Leaders Program, it was it was really the it was really designed, I believe, for those younger professionals that maybe their employers weren't ready to invest the larger sum of
Hmm.
money and the larger length of time into that individual yet, but they still wanted to get them some really good leadership training.
Hmm.
But what it's actually merged into in this last graduating class was really incredible, because the scope of individuals that were in this last cohort really proved that getting that applied leadership training and getting that behind the scenes of your county and behind the scenes of who you are and how you communicate with other people is applicable no matter where you are in your leadership journey. And so I would really say the Emerging Leaders Program is good for anybody. It's good for
Hmm.
anyone who lives or works in the Manassas City, Manassas Park, or Prince William County. And maybe they're a little skeptical of the big program. Maybe they don't have, it's not the right time, whether it be cost wise or scheduling,
Hmm.
but they want to get involved and get exposed to the leadership Prince William abilities, and all of the opportunities that provides you. So the emerging leaders, our applications for that will actually open up later in the summer, for our fall cohort. But the signature program applications, that deadline is here in just a couple of days. That's the end of June, is our signature program of applications. So we do have a couple of spots left, I believe, for that. So anyone who may be interested in a little more information about that, either our executive director, Charles Gillum, or myself are happy to jump on a call, happy to jump on a FaceTime
Hmm.
or a Zoom to give you a little more information on how that could benefit you and what the different parameters are. Or you can check out our website, leadershippprincewilliam.org.
Okay. So I guess first we'll focus on Leadership Prince William, the 9-month program. The deadline for applications is June 30th. Is that
Correct.
correct? Okay, everybody. So that's in 2 days. And the application is online.
Mhm.
Um, I believe there's an application fee. Is that correct?
There is an application fee, correct? Yes.
Okay. And so all that information will be online. I don't want to get too into the weeds about that. What I think is going to be most beneficial is to maybe just go in a little bit more depth about the actual program, because I know a lot of people have heard of Leadership Prince William, Leadership Prince or Leadership Fairfax. I mean, I've heard of this before I started. Like I've heard of it before I even started, get involved and meet people that were in it. So can you explain as I don't want to say as concisely as possible. I don't like that word. Can you just explain the benefit to somebody of going through a program like that versus the normal, networking that they might already be doing? Because you had mentioned that you did um, BNIs and different groups and things like that. So how would a person benefit um, differently from doing this program versus all the other options that are available to them?
Sure, sure. So, and I'll steal the line from our late incoming chair, Patrick King. He, in one of the last information sessions that he was a part of before he left us, he made the very, very, very accurate comment that it's not who you know, but it's how you know them.
Hmm.
And that really fits incredibly well when it comes to the Leadership Prince William journey. It's with anything that you're a part of, you get out of it what you put into it. But the
Mhm.
Leadership Prince William journey it's not about networking. It's not about making money. It's about figuring out, first of all, who you are, how you operate, and then learning what your community has and how you can utilize both those community resources, those community opportunities to build and grow yourself in your leadership journey now and in the future. Like I mentioned, I graduated the program in 2013, so I'm 10 years in,
Mhm.
and I'm continuing to utilize those opportunities that have been presented to me, even now as I come into my chair role in the coming year. But the I guess even more detail regarding the program, we start out the program and the retreat with what's called our emergenetics profiles. So
Mhm.
pretty much everyone's familiar with your Myers-Briggs and your DISC, and the emergenetics profile goes above and beyond what I've been exposed to in any of those other personality type profiles, in really helping you to learn who you are, whether you like it or not, both in your behaviors and how do you react to people. And that has helped me both business as well as personally over the years
Mhm.
to identify how other people think, how the other people react, and how I can best work with them to accomplish those joint goals that we have. Additionally, throughout the program, one of the things that we really like to do, like I mentioned, is we have a grouping of roughly 33 or so community members on an annual basis going through our signature program. And we want to have a great snippet of the community represented in terms
Mhm.
of professions, private sector, public sector, age, gender, race, like all of that, so that when we're putting a class together, it's a great reflection of exactly the diversity that our community and our county has. And that allows us throughout the year to approach conversations within the class, to approach projects, to approach our community leaders with what we like to call a full brain. You know, not we all think differently, we all have different behaviors and personalities, but you get all of us together with a common goal,
Mhm.
speaking a similar language, and incredible, beautiful things can happen from that.
Mhm. Well, I'm really glad that you explained it that way, and I forgot about the emergenetics. I've heard about that. So, I think sometimes when people hear, leadership, you learn how to be a leader. Um, they don't really understand everything, and probably rightfully so. What comes to the mind with leadership, but it's also, if I'm not mistaken, learning communication skills and how
Mhm.
you communicate and how to communicate with other people
Yep.
for the purpose of helping you in your various leadership roles, whether that's in your work or growing in the company or going off to do your own thing or growing in the community, things like that.
Exactly.
Is that a good way to describe it?
Very true, very true. And Jean, one of the things that you had asked during one of our information sessions, which is probably sitting in the forefront of a lot of people's minds as well, is what's in it for me. Yes, you've got the leadership training and those skills, but more of the tangibles.
Hmm.
You go to a BNI and you know that you're going to get business from it. That's your purpose for being, in a BNI. You go to chamber events and you go to networking events, and you're going there for business. Well, Leadership Prince William, like I mentioned, is not for networking. It's not specifically
Hmm.
for business, but you do business with people that you know, like, and trust.
Hmm.
And I've done over the years, if I need something, I go to my LPW alumni. If they need something, they come out, and so we tend to do more business together. There's been so many partnerships and so many businesses and so many um, community ventures that have spawned out of relationships built from
Hmm.
LPW alumni members.
Yeah, and I think Bennett Whitlock was present at one of those. I actually was at, I think, two meetings within 1 week, or two information sessions in a week. And Bennett stated that Centrifuge ended up
Hmm.
um, being conceived as a result of
Exactly.
the connections in Leadership Prince William.
That's very true.
And
Centrifuge, Northern Virginia Food Rescue,
uh,
um, several other. I, I don't have them off the top of my head, right? But
yeah.
those are two of the biggest that we can probably all, um,
Hmm.
picture it. That's and those both came from LPW.
Hmm. Okay. Now, you are a 10-year alumni now, so you are actually a great person for me to have asked to do this, because not only have you seen the program change, if it did in any way, over these past 10 years, but you've also seen how your connections and how what you've learned has helped you in your career. So you mentioned specifically the communication styles and how that's helped you, but what about your relationship with alumni over the past 10 years?
That's it, it's been this constantly evolving. Again, you get out of any organization what you put into it, and the more that
Hmm.
you're involved and the more that you engage, the better the relationships are from that. And over the last 10 years, it's ebbed and flowed.
Hmm.
But specifically in the last 5 years, with being asked to be on the board of directors, getting more involved on the leadership side of LPW, it's exposed me to much more than I would have just being an alumni. Um, oh, everything okay?
That is somebody else's cell phone that is in my bag.
Oh.
This is the joy of live performances. One moment,
No,
please.
no worries.
I didn't think to turn off the ringer on someone else's phone.
No worries.
Um,
But yeah, the organization has grown over the years. And the COVID era definitely put a bit of a damper on a lot of our similar types of organizations. It put a big damper on the alumni engagement, and so that's been a huge focus here over the last year, and
mhm,
that's going to be a big focus for me in my coming year. Is really reconnecting and getting that fire lit again,
mhm,
for our programs, and to bring a lot of those connections, back together. We have alumni that, they move out of the area, they kind of pass the torch on, and we need to make sure that we're keeping the momentum, moving in the appropriate direction.
mhm, mhm. Okay. Well, this was a lot of really good information. I don't really know what other questions to ask right now. Oh, you know what? I am going to ask a question which I know the answer to, because I'm not sure if you hit on this earlier. You mentioned the overnight, the meeting in September, where you get to know everybody really well, or that that's the goal, to get to know people on a closer, more informal basis. So during the next 9 months, you mentioned that there were different, themes. But can you explain to everybody what the time commitment is over
Oh,
those
yes.
9 months?
Definitely. So the signature program, and that was one of the concerns that you had as well. It is quite a time commitment. With the opening retreat and closing retreat are mandatory, and
Hmm.
the closing retreat is a full day. It's not an overnight, and
Oh,
it
I'm
is
sorry.
local. But the opening retreat is the overnight, in the
Hmm.
Shenandoah, and then from October until May, it's a full Thursday every month. It's
Hmm.
8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And you're allowed, I believe it's 12 hours of missed time throughout the program year. And so that's basically, you can miss one day without being excused from the program. And it is a big time commitment. So we want to make sure that anyone that is applying for the program understands that there's very little wiggle room there. And that's a part of being a leader, is understanding what your parameters are. And if this is the right
Hmm.
time for you, fantastic. That's wonderful. But if it's not the right time, we still want you to engage. We still want you to find a way to be involved with the Leadership Prince William family, whether it be, looking at the Emerging Leaders Program, whether it be coming to our events like our signature,
Oh
our,
yeah.
our, our Evening of Excellence, our Casino Royale, which is actually next week on July 6th. Getting involved with and trying to support the Leadership Prince William organization, so that when it is the right time for you, you're there and you're
Hmm.
comfortable and you're ready to go. And so, like I mentioned, our big program is next week. We only fund about 40% of our operating costs from our signature program tuitions. So we require almost 60% of our operating costs in sponsorships and donations and things of that nature that come in from our mission sponsors, as well as those who support us through our fundraising events. So our big
Hmm.
fundraiser is July 6th. It is Casino Royale at the Hilton Performing Arts Center. Tickets are still available. There are still a few sponsorship opportunities available. And full details are on our website, leadershippprincewilliam.org. We will be converting the Hilton Performing Arts Center in Manassas at the George Mason campus into Casino Royale, where we've got gaming, we've got horse races, we've got auction, we've got silent appeal, we've got amazing food, and an opportunity to connect with your local community in a really fun event.
Yeah, this was actually the perfect day to do this because the applications are due on Friday. So this is a reminder to anybody that hasn't gotten their application in. And then also the Casino Royale, which is next Thursday, so a week from
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yep.
Um, Casino night, everybody I assume can, dress up in fancy clothes like they're going to a casino.
Yep.
And it's at the Hilton Performing Arts Center, which everybody knows it's a great local venue. So yeah, I'm glad that we got to plug that. I still need to try to get my tickets.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because I think that some people um, might, think, oh, if I haven't gone through it, I can't go to these events or, be crashing a party. Like I don't want to go if I,
Yeah.
so I'm glad that you mentioned that we can still participate in that way if, we can't do the 9 month program for whatever reason. So I'm,
Oh,
I'm glad that you brought that up.
definitely. Definitely. It's again, to each their own. And in your time,
Hmm.
if you're able to go through the signature program at a later time, fantastic. But we don't want you to miss out on that opportunity to get a little bit from LPW and to
Hmm.
continue to make those connections. So this is
Yeah.
actually the first time that we're opening up our Evening of Excellence, our big annual fundraiser, to those other than alumni. And
Ah,
so it's really exciting. We're looking forward to, a full packed house. And yeah, it's really cool. I'm really excited.
okay. Well, I'm excited too. You most likely will see me there.
Yay.
But I can't make any promises now because if I do that on a live video, then I have to do what I said I was going to do. So okay, awesome. Well, I think this was. I'm really glad we had this conversation because I knew about Leadership Prince William, but obviously this, like generally, but this is for people who don't know to get the word out there. But every time I do these lives, I learn something new. So I learned about the Emerging Leaders Program, the 8 week program that's available for people.
Mhm.
So I'm really glad that we did this. So, the message to everybody, in my opinion, leadership, you check out Leadership Prince William in some capacity. Check out the signature program. Check out the Emerging Leaders Program if you can't make the time or financial commitment to the long one. Check out the events. I know they have random events throughout the year because I've been to them.
Yep.
And their signature event is next week, and it should be fun. It's a fundraiser. The money goes actually, well, when I'm done with my statement here, why don't you tell everybody where the money's going this year? But it's their signature event. It's a big casino night for everybody. And the first year that it's opened up to non-alumni. So not only can you meet alumni of Leadership Prince William, but you can also meet other people who may not have necessarily gone through the program and learn more what it's about and be able to talk to people on the board like Tiffany. So Tiffany, I saw on Facebook, but why don't you tell everybody where the proceeds are going this year?
So this year's event is actually in honor of Patrick King, who, for those in our local community, I think everyone knew Patrick King. He passed
Hmm.
away unexpectedly at the end of May. And so this event is in his honor. He put a ton of work and heart into the planning, the organizing for this, for Leadership Prince William, as well as so many other local nonprofit organizations. And so, the least that we can do is do this in his honor. Um, a few members are setting up a Patrick King Scholarship Fund as well, and so there'll be some additional fundraising happening at the event for that. But every dollar that is raised is going towards our operating costs, going towards scholarships for the coming class, to making sure that we can continue to provide these programs to our Leadership Prince William community.
Hmm. Okay, awesome. Well, on that note, I think that's a good place to end. But is there anything else that you wanted to mention about Leadership Prince William that I didn't ask or that we didn't get to yet?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'd love to have conversations with anyone that has questions. Like Leadership Prince William on Facebook, so that you can stay updated on everything that's happening there. You can find me and message me there if you have
Hmm.
questions. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about it, and I'm very excited about taking over as chair here in just a couple days.
Okay, awesome. Well, Tiffany, thank you so much for
Yeah.
agreeing to have this conversation with me when you're on vacation. I appreciate your time. And everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. I know I saw a lot of people popping in. So if you guys have any questions, contact Tiffany or anybody else that you know that's on or involved with Leadership Prince William. So Tiffany, thanks again.
Thanks for having
I'll
me,
see
Jean.
you probably next week.
I'll see you then. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.